Very good morning, dear aspirants. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs related to international issues and international organizations. In this discussion, in this video, we'll be discussing the next 10 topics, right from 81st topic to the 90th topic in international relations. Don't miss the earlier videos. Watch the earlier videos with utmost attention and keep an eye on the premium preliminary question papers and work out the question paper to have an extra edge in your overall preparation. Now, the first topic of discussion as it is India and Vietnam, then President power to pardon India and US, fourth NSA level meeting held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, China to build a major dam on Brahmaputra river, India reject OIC reference to Kashmir, 19th meeting of the SEO Council of Heads of Government SEO CHE, SEO online exhibition, granting provisional status to Gilgit-Baltistan, Israel-Palestine, International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2020. So the discussion as it is International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2020, Israel-Palestine, granting provisional status to Gilgit-Baltistan, SEO online exhibition, 19th meeting of SEO Council of Heads of Government, India rejects OIC reference to Kashmir, China to build a major dam on Brahmaputra river, fourth NSA level meeting held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, President's power to pardon, the discussion between India and United States of America, then India and Vietnam. Now, India and Vietnam, Minister of Defense of India Sri Rajnath Singh and Minister of National Defense of Socialist Republic of Vietnam, General Ngo Xuan Lich held bilateral talks via video conferencing. So India and Vietnam discussion has started. So what is the discussion should be clear. At the same time, war Vietnam, what is the geography and what is the basic physiography related to Vietnam also should be there in your mind. Now key points, both ministers reaffirmed the strong India-Vietnam defense cooperation, which is a key pillar of comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. They discussed various ongoing projects and the future trajectory of bilateral defense engagements. Discussed collaboration in defense industry, capability building, training and cooperation in UN peacekeeping operations. Signed an implementing agreement for cooperation in the field of hydrography between National Hydrographic Office, India and Vietnam Hydrographic Office in the presence of the two ministers. The arrangement will enable sharing of hydrographic data and assist in production of navigational chart by both the sides. So when it comes to India and Vietnam, it is more into sharing of hydrographic data. So the arrangement will enable sharing of hydrographic data and assist in production of navigational chart by both sides. Vietnamese Defense Minister invited Raksha Mantri for ADMM Plus meeting being hosted by Vietnam on 10 December 2020 through virtual mode during that particular time. So that is the discussion between India and Vietnam. Minister of Defense of India Sri Rajnath Singh and Minister of National Defense of Socialistic Republic of Vietnam, General Ngo Xuan Lich had bilateral talks, and that bilateral talks were more into hydrographic data and assist in production of navigational charts by both the sides. Next is President power to pardon India and US. President Donald Trump pardoned Michael Flynn, his first national security advisor, who had pleaded guilty to lying to FBI agent. The pardon came before a judge had ruled on a motion by United States Justice Department to dismiss the case and to undo Flynn's guilty plea for making false statement to agents about the nature of his conversation with Russia's ambassador to the United States. Sorry. So President Donald Trump pardoned Michael Flynn, his first national security advisor, who had pleaded guilty to lying to FBI agents. So from polity point of view, you should have an understanding what is this scenario. At the same time, you should have more clarity regarding India's president power to give pardon. So UPSC can frame question from that particular perspective. Now president's power to pardon as such is in discussion from United States of America's perspective. So President Donald Trump pardoned Michael Flynn, his first national security advisor, who had pleaded guilty to lying to FBI agents. US President's pardoning power, according to Article 2, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, the President's power to pardon seems nearly limitless. The President shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offences against the United States except in case of impeachment. The President's power to pardon is limited to federal offences only. So that is the US President's pardoning power. According to the Article 2, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, the President's power to pardon seems nearly limitless. The President shall have power to grant reprieves and pardon for offences against the United States except in case of impeachment. President also may issue preemptive pardons, or rather a pardon for any crimes an individual may have committed or may have been charged with. The President may use this power to grant conditional pardons such as serving a lesser sentence or commutation, or to grant remissions of fines or forfeitures and respites, that is delaying a sentence. So that is the power of the President of America. Now we have to discuss and understand, or you have to discuss and understand, you should have clarity regarding the Article 72 of the Indian Constitution in relation with the President pardoning power. In that, the pardon, commutation, remission, respite and reprieve, you should have absolute clarity regarding all this five in your mind. Next topic of discussion is 4th NSA-level meeting held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. The 4th National Security Advisor level meeting on trilateral maritime security cooperation was held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives in Colombo. The participants took stock of the current maritime security environment in the region. They have discussed mutual cooperation in an array of areas including maritime domain awareness, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, joint exercise and maritime pollution. The 4th National Security Advisor level meeting on trilateral maritime security cooperation was held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives in Colombo. The participants took stock of the current maritime security environment in the region. They have discussed mutual cooperation in an array of areas including maritime domain awareness, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, joint exercise and maritime pollution. Exchanging views on common security threats, India, Sri Lanka and Maldives have agreed to broad-based cooperation on a host of maritime security related issues. So the 4th NSA level meeting held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives as such is in discussion. At the same time, the areas they took stock of the current maritime security environment in the region, and they have discussed mutual cooperation in an array of areas including maritime domain awareness, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, joint exercise and maritime pollution. The next discussion is related to Brahmaputra River. China to build a major dam on Brahmaputra River. A Chinese hydropower company to construct the first downstream dam on the lower reaches of Brahmaputra River, or Yarlung Zangpo as it is known in Tibet. So Brahmaputra River is in discussion, the geography of Brahmaputra, at the same time the area's geography, the Tibet and the Chinese geography should have clarity in your mind. You should have clarity in that. Why a Chinese hydropower company to construct the first downstream dam on the lower reaches of Brahmaputra River on Yarlung Zangpo as it is known in Tibet. It is close to the line of actual control LAC in Tibet. So when you look into that location, you can see it is close to the line of actual control and in Tibet. Originating in Tibet Autonomous Region, the trans-border Yarlung Zangpo flows into Arunachal Pradesh, where it is called as Siang, and then to Assam as Brahmaputra before flowing into Bangladesh. So Brahmaputra I am telling about, originating in the Tibet Autonomous Region, the trans-border Yarlung Zangpo flows into Arunachal Pradesh, where it is called Siang, and then to Assam as Brahmaputra before flowing into Bangladesh. China in 2015 operationalized its first hydropower project at Zangpo in Tibet, where 3 other dams at Dangu, Jiu and Jicha are being developed, all on the upper and middle ranges, all on the upper and middle reaches of the river. So China in 2015 operationalized its first hydropower project at Zangpo in Tibet, while 3 other dams at Dangu, that is one is in Dangu, second one is in Jizu and third one is in Jicha. So 3 location assets you have to keep in your mind, that is Dangu, Jizu and Jicha are being developed all on the upper and middle reaches of the river. The dam could come into the Midong County of TR, which is close to Arunachal Pradesh. The new dam's ability to generate hydropower could be 3 times that of central China's Three Gorges Dam, which has the largest installed hydropower capacity in the world. The new dam's ability to generate hydropower could be 3 times that of central China's Three Gorges Dam, which has the largest installed hydropower capacity in the world. The new dam will be built with focus on maintaining China's national security. So now that is in discussion. So Tibetan Autonomous Region, that is there in the limelight, and the dam could come in the Medong County of the Tibet Autonomous Region, which is close to Arunachal Pradesh. Next one is India rejects OIC reference to Kashmir. India strongly rejected unwarranted references about Jammu and Kashmir made in resolution adopted at the 47th Council of Foreign Ministers by the Organization of Islamic Country. So since India rejected OIC reference to Kashmir, OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference, that the fundamental data related to OIC should be there in your mind. India strongly rejected unwarranted references about Jammu and Kashmir made in resolutions adopted at the 47th Council of Foreign Ministers by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. India has said OIC has no locus standi in matters strictly internal to India, including that of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, which is an integral and inalienable part of India. The 47th session of the Council of Foreign Ministers (CFM) of the OIC in its meeting on November 27-29 at the Niamey in Niger has made a reference to India over its policies on Jammu and Kashmir. Now, what is Organization of Islamic Cooperation is about? OIC is the second largest organization after United Nations with the members of 57 states spread over 4 countries. Its headquarters is in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The organization is a collective voice of Muslim world. It endeavors to safeguard and protect the interest of Muslim world in the spirit of promoting international peace and harmony among various people of the world. So there's a basic fundamentals related to OIC. Try to read more into OIC and its discussion. Now, right from UPSC point of view, you should have an idea about why India rejects OIC reference to Kashmir. At the same time, you should have clarity regarding OIC as an organization. UPSC can frame fundamental questions right from OIC since it is in discussion. Next topic is 19th meeting of SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Council of Head of Government. So SCO CHG, India hosted the 19th meeting of the Council of Head of Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization via video conference on Tuesday, November 30. That was the discussion. So India hosted the 19th meeting of Council of Heads of Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization via video conference on Tuesday, November 30. The meeting was chaired by Vice President of India, Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu. So what is the key highlights? Examining the state and prospects of economic development in the worldwide and the region. Discuss priority measures to promote trade, economic and humanitarian cooperation in the interest of the people of the SCO member states. Noted the initiative of Republic of Tajikistan to develop a plan of priority practical measures for 2021-2022 to overcome the socio-economic, financial and food consequences of COVID-19 in the region. So 19th meeting of the SCO Council of Head of Government happened as such, and right from India's side, Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu, the Vice President of India as such, chaired the discussion, and you should have a clarity what is the discussion is about, and emphasize the position of the SCO member state on the need to orient a common vision of global prosperity and cooperation of humans with regard to the pandemic, freely and openly share the benefit of medical research and development, and develop adaptive, responsive and human health system. The heads of delegations considered it necessary to ensure the consistent implementation of the action plan for 2021-2025 on the implementation of the SCO development strategy until 2025. The list of measures for further development of project activities within the SCO for the period 2017 to 2021. So that is the discussion in connection with 19th meeting of the SCO Council of Heads of Government. As an aspirant, you should have more clarity regarding the recent development, that is the 19th meeting of SCO Council. At the same time, with equal importance, you should have more clarity regarding the fundamentals of SCO as an organization and India's role in SCO. Next is SCO online exhibition. Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu launched the first ever SCO online exhibition on shared Buddhist heritage during the 19th meeting of the SCO Council of Heads of Government in video conference format. So that is an innovative step. Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu launched the first ever SCO online exhibition on shared Buddhist heritage during the 19th meeting of the SCO Council of Heads of Government in video conference format. This SCO online international exhibition, first ever of its kind, is developed and curated by the National Museum, New Delhi, in active collaboration with the SCO member countries. So once again, the first ever SCO online exhibition on shared Buddhist heritage during the 19th meeting of the SCO Council. The exhibition deploys state-of-the-art technologies like 3D scanning, WebGL platform, virtual space utilization, innovative curation and narration methodology, etc. Buddhist philosophy and art of Central Asia connect Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries to each other. So you can expect questions from Buddhist philosophy, statement-related questions. At the same time, they can frame different questions right from Buddhist philosophy in your preliminary exam as such, because now Buddhist philosophy is in discussion. The participating institutions are National Museum, New Delhi, Indian Museum, Kolkata, National Museum of Kazakhstan, Dunhuang Academy, China, National Historical Museum of the Kyrgyz Republic, Museum of Pakistan, State Museum of Oriental Art, Moscow, Russia, National Museum and National Museum of Antiquities, Tajikistan, and renowned archaeological sites of Uzbekistan. These all are the participating institutions. The visitors can explore the Indian Buddhist treasures from the Gandhara and Madura schools, Nalanda, Amravati, Sarnathak, in a 3D visual format. So once again, Gandhara Arts is in discussion, Gandhara school, Madura school, Nalanda, Amravati, all you should have clarity, because Buddhist treasures such as Gandhara, Madura, Nalanda, Amravati, all are as such in discussion. So have a clarity right from that perspective too. Next is granting provisional status to Gilgit-Baltistan. Prime Minister Imran Khan, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan said that his government would work on a priority basis to grant the provisional status to Gilgit-Baltistan, according to a media report. His remarks came after he arrived in the disputed region to attend the oath-taking ceremony of the 14-member Gilgit-Baltistan cabinet. So understanding the geography of Gilgit-Baltistan region, that is from UPSC perspective, at the same time, what is the discussion is about. Now, what is the stand of India? India has slammed Pakistan for its decision to hold elections in Gilgit-Baltistan and said any action to alter the status of the military occupied region has no legal basis. India also clearly conveyed to Pakistan that the entire union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, including the areas of Gilgit and Baltistan, are an integral part of the country. So that's a clear stand right from the side of India. Now, the fundamentals of Gilgit-Baltistan, where it is located and what is the basic nature, what is the altitude and what is the geography, has to be understood from your side, and the history behind. Now, in newspaper you can see granting provisional status to Gilgit-Baltistan will be priority. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. His remark came after he arrived in the disputed region to attend oath-taking ceremony of the 14-member Gilgit-Baltistan cabinet. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan on Wednesday said that his government would work on a priority basis to grant the provincial status to Gilgit-Baltistan, according to a media report. So now the discussion is granting provincial status to Gilgit-Baltistan. So in the entire discussion, you can see that right from the starting, granting provincial provincial status to Gilgit-Baltistan, and Prime Minister Imran Khan said that his government would work on a priority basis to grant provincial status to Gilgit-Baltistan, and this granting provincial status as such is vehemently criticized from India. So India has slammed Pakistan for its decision to hold election in Gilgit-Baltistan. So right from UPSC perspective, what is the geography of that particular region, what is the history, and what is Gilgit-Baltistan region is about, you should have idea. Now, from the history perspective, right from 1999 onwards, what all of the development happened in connection with Gilgit-Baltistan, and what is the recent discussion and why India vehemently criticized, make a clarity. At the same time, understand Gilgit-Baltistan in connection with its geography too. And What is the current affair? Granting provincial status to Gilgit-Baltistan. That Pakistan as such conveyed that is their priority, and India vehemently criticized that priority and that discussion right from the side of India. We conveyed it's absolutely wrong. Next is Israel-Palestine discussion. Israel transferred over $1 billion in taxes and custom duties it collects on behalf of Palestinian Authority after a 6 months hiatus in which the Palestine had severed ties with Israel over its plan to annex part of the occupied West Bank. So Israel transferred over $1 billion in taxes and custom duties it collects on behalf of the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian resumes contacts with Israel in November 2020 following President-elect Joe Biden's victory in the US election. Mr. Biden is opposed to annexation and has promised a more even-handed approach to the conflict. So Israel-Palestine discussion again came into limelight in connection with the transfer of money. So again, in the last video also I conveyed the discussion, the development related to development related to Israel and Palestine. And again, Israel and Palestine as it is coming into discussion, you should have more clarity regarding the geography, at the same time, the history of Israel-Palestinian issue. Now, the taxes are a key source of revenue of Palestinian Authority, which administers part of the Israel-occupied West Bank. It was forced to cut the salaries it pays to tens of thousands of civil servants, worsening an economic crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Israel said it would deduct an amount equal to what the Palestinian Authority pays to the families of prisoners and those killed in the conflict, including militants implicated in attacks that killed Israelis. So that is the conflict between Israel and Palestine in connection with the distribution of transfer tax between these two countries. Yes, the last topic of discussion for in this today's video, International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2020. International Day of People with Disabilities is a United Nations sanctioned day celebrated internationally on 3rd December each year. We are in December 2020. On this day, WHO joins partners to celebrate a day for all. This theme reflects a growing understanding that disability is a part of the human condition. Theme of 2020 is Building Back Better towards an inclusive, accessible and sustainable post-COVID-19 world by, for, the and with persons with disabilities. So theme of 2020 is Building Back Better towards an inclusive, accessible and sustainable post-COVID-19 world by, for and with persons with disabilities. WHO supported this theme by underlining the importance of fostering an inclusive culture and responding to the urgent need of people with disabilities in all aspects of society, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the theme of 2020 is embodying Building Back Better towards an inclusive, accessible and sustainable post-COVID-19 world by, for and with persons with disabilities. That is the discussion about. And the annual observance of the International Day of Disabled Person was proclaimed in 1992 by United Nations General Assembly Resolution 47/3. It aimed to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities in all spheres of society and development, and to increase awareness of the situation of persons with disabilities in every aspect of political, social, economic and cultural life. So United Nations General Assembly Resolution 47/3, it aimed to promote the right and well-being of persons with disabilities in all spheres of society and development. This year's the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, IDPD, falls on the same week as the Conference of State Parties to the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities, 30 November, 1st and 3rd December 2020, and will be observed throughout the week in conjunction with the 13th session of the Conference of State Parties to the CRPD. So that is the discussion related to International Day of Persons with Disabilities, that is IDPD. And International Day of Peoples with Disabilities is a United Nations sanctioned day celebrated internationally on 3rd December each year. That's the discussion about. So that's all for now. Have a great time. At the same time, keep an extra eye on international issues and organization. It's very, very important and decisive from UPSC prelims point of view and in future in mains point of view. So calm version is the most productive version. Be calm, have a very productive discussion. At the same time, keep an extra eye on the UPSC Leading Radius Premium Preliminary Question Papers and work out the Premium Preliminary Question Paper and keep an extra edge in your overall preparation. So that's all for now. Have a great time. Meet you in the next video. Thank you. Thank you all.